Hi everybody, it's John from Wire here. In this video what we're going to go over is how to set up Google AdSense ads on your website. And this guide is specific to WordPress websites only. So here I have a Google AdSense account that is brand new. There has never been an ad associated with this account. There is nothing in the settings, there's nothing in the optimization. And this is where I would expect most of you would probably start out. And the reason we're starting with such this basic level is I wanted to go through step by step what I do every time I set up an AdSense account for the different businesses that I consult for. So the first thing I do is once you've confirmed your Google AdSense account and you have it created and you're on this page, is the first thing I do is I go to My Ads and I add a URL channel. And what this URL channel is going to do is it's going to let you track your ad based on the website that you place it on. So say for example that you have like 3 different websites and you all want them to have ads on each one of the websites. By creating a URL channel and putting the URLs in here, you can then go and track each set of ads based on the website that you're displaying them on. And this is really useful for like performance reports later on. So I'm going to go ahead and add an example website here. Click on Add URL Channels. Okay. And what's going to happen is that if you have a website that you haven't already added to your verified websites page when you signed up, it's going to ask you to claim sites and create the URL channels. So I'm going to fast forward and put a URL channel that I have already claimed because you would have had to do this in order to get your AdSense website to begin with. So I'm going to pause the video and come back to it once I have this URL added. Okay, so I went ahead and activated the URL channel that I want to use for my reporting, and I blurred it out because I just want to keep the privacy of the people I'm working with here confidential. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Ad Units, and I'm going to create a new ad unit. There's a lot of different options you can choose here depending on where you want to put it on your website. For the most part, I really use responsive, automatic sized ad sizes because if people are on mobile and they visit the website, I want it to work both on mobile and the desktop. So by default, it only shows the recommended ad sizes. You can go ahead and choose which ones you want to use. I usually just stick with the responsive ones though, but it depends on your usage. So I'm going to name this ad unit based on the location that the ad is going to be placed. So I'm going to put this ad unit in the right-hand sidebar. So I'm going to do right sidebar. Then I want this one to be selected. Text and display ads is just recommended based on the revenue. The ad style, I kind of try to make it match the website color template that I'm using. Just so it kind of blends in a little bit well and it doesn't completely stand out. It totally is up to you what you want to use. You can even go ahead and create your own with your own type of background colors and URL colors and etc. But for now, just for this example, I'm going to go with the default. Custom channels, I'm not going to create any of these. There's no reason to for what this demonstration is showing. And then backup ads, I want it to show a blank space. And now save and click on code, and this is going to be the ad code that I'm going to put inside of my website. I'm going to show you a really easy way to do this with a WordPress plugin. So what you want to do now is you want to copy this ad code and then click on close. Okay, so now I'm on my WordPress website that I want to put the ads on, and the plugin that I'm going to be using for this tutorial is called Ad Injection by Review My Life. You just go to your plugins, add new plugin, and then type in Ad Injection, and it should be the first one to show up, but just make sure it's by Review My Life because that's one that's going to be using. So once you have that installed and activated, you then want to go ahead and go to the left-hand side of your dashboard here under Settings, and then click on Ad Injection, and you'll be presented with this page. So what this page does, and it looks a little bit overwhelming, but it's really quite easy. All you're really doing is you're just putting the settings in to tell the application where you want the ads to display. So for example, on this one, global settings, you first want to make sure that your ads are enabled. If you want to go ahead and test it first before you put it live, you can put it into test mode. But for this tutorial, I'm just going to have them as on. And this is the section where you can disable the ads. So for me, I wanted to make sure that on all my actual pages they were disabled. My home page, my front page, and my 404 and search page, there were no ads displayed at all. So I went ahead and checked the top of this and made sure those were disabled. I do want all of my posts to have ads, and I want all the archive pages to have ads as well. So I just left those unchecked. So the next thing I did is I scrolled down here. I really don't want any top ads. I don't care about random ads, but I do want to make sure that the maximum number of ads on a whole page is at 3. The reason that this is really important is because according to the ad placement policies that Google implements to make sure that you're following the rules correctly, they don't allow more than 3 ads per page. So if you put 4, 5, or 6 and you put the code in for each one of those ads, you're probably going to get in trouble later on. I really do encourage you to read over the ad placement policies. There's a lot of different options down here that you may not know about, including the 404 pages. So remember back here when I had 404 pages checked that I didn't want ads on any 404 pages, that's actually a rule of the ad placement policy that it can't be on a 404 page. So you definitely want to make sure that that's checked to disable the ads. So again, I'll have a link to this article in the description below, but truly spend the time, if you're going to do this correctly, to read through this article, because it basically outlines every single infraction that you can have on your site, and you really don't want to have an infraction because it just leads to trouble down the road. Okay, so back to the settings for ad injection. I don't want a top ad. My random ads is set to 3 maximum. And I'm just going to leave all of these blank for now, and I'll show you why. Because under the advert section, you can enter the code that you were given. So right here under random ad, I have insert randomly between paragraphs of my posts. So you can go ahead and put a responsive ad there. But remember how earlier in the AdSense dashboard, under my ad units, I had this listed as a sidebar. So it makes sense that I just want to put this in the sidebar of the page itself. Well, ad injection doesn't have any sidebar options. So what we can do instead is we can go to Appearance and then go to Widgets, and then in Widgets I made a text button, and your left hand side may look a little bit more different than mine is, but an arbitrary text or HTML widget. And we're just going to drag that into the default sidebar. And you can see that I already have one right here, but I'm just going to show you what I did for this one. So under this text option, all you're going to do is just leave the title blank. You could put like advert or something like that, but you can leave this blank if you want and just paste that ad code that we had copied earlier from the AdSense area. So again, if you want to put it in the sidebar, I just want to go back to AdSense, click on Get Code. I want to copy this code, and then I want to switch back to my widgets area in my WordPress website, and then paste the code inside this text. And then once you're done, click on Save, and that will save the advert on the right-hand side of your sidebar. So now I want to go back. I want to create a different ad. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to name this Bottom of Post. I'm going to make it a leaderboard, and I want this to be text and display ads, and I want the ad style to be default, and the custom channels I don't really care about, and the backup ads I actually don't want to have anything here, so I'm going to keep it show blank space. So I'm going to save and get code, and then copy all of this code here. And I'm going back to my ad injection plugin under the settings area, and I'm going to scroll down to the section that says bottom ad. And you'll notice that I already have some content in here, but this is going to be blank when you first see it. And I'm just going to paste that code that I had copied earlier in this section. There's a few options on the side here for each one of these types of ads. You can adjust the alignment of the ad, you can adjust the CSS properties as well. But for right now, I know that mine's going to work because I already have it on the page, so I'm just going to go ahead and leave these as they are. And then once you've pasted the code in this section here, I'm going to go to the top and click on Save All Settings. So once you've placed your adverts into these different sections, and you can definitely do it wherever you want to go ahead and test them on the site itself. So I've added my 2 pieces of code to this page, and I'm going to go ahead and look to see if I can find them. Alright, so here's the first one right here, and here is the second ad right here. And something interesting that you'll notice about this ad is that it kind of resembles the look of my website. And the way I did this is I went back to my ad units and I created a new ad with a text style that resembles the properties on my site. So you can actually name this too. So I think I named mine website template. So I was able to go ahead and change the background to whatever the color scheme I had working on the website, and that just makes it blend in a little bit more and a little bit less intrusive to the visitors. So once you've gone ahead and done this, again, you want to give it a little bit of time before you have them show up on the site, and that's because Google has to have a few minutes just to populate the different advertiser requests. So if you don't see it automatically, just give it a few minutes. And then once you've done that, you should be good to go. As you start gathering some clicks and as you start gathering some impressions, under the performance reports and optimization sections, there's going to be some options for you. We're not going to go into those right now because we shouldn't have any performance reports because no one has seen the ad yet. With that, you should be all set to go. One last thing, I really do want to encourage you to read over the ad placement policies. I will have this at the bottom of this video so you can go ahead and read them yourselves. It's very important that you follow the guide listed here so you don't get dinged later on. I hope this tutorial helped you out, and if you have any questions, you can go ahead and leave a comment below. I do go ahead and read every single one of them, and I hope you have a really great day. Thanks, and take care.